Friends, in today's video, I would like to show you the changes in the foreign trade performance of Indian economy, especially against the backdrop of COVID-19. We know that COVID-19 has created a lot of disturbances in an economy, especially in developing and developed economies. Both economies have badly been affected by the COVID-19 crisis. This crisis has not really affected the internal affairs of countries, but their external trade and balance of payments. They have become more vulnerable due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 crisis. Here in this video, we would like to discuss the foreign trade performance analysis of India in times of COVID-19. And looking at this figure, it is very obvious that the world growth rate and the growth rate of different kinds of countries in the world has been badly affected during the time of the COVID-19 crisis, especially during the lockdown period, which many nations have announced that the economic growth rate of such countries has badly been affected. In this figure, I have given three kind of illustrations. That black line shows the world economy growth rate, and the red line gives you the growth rate of advanced economies, and the green line depicts the growth rate of emerging market and developing economies, in which the countries like India are included. So looking at this figure, it is very obvious that the world economic growth rate has been too slow over the last years. In 2010, it was rolling around 4%, and thereafter it slightly declined, of course. But in 2019, that's a period just before the outbreak of the COVID-19, the growth rate was little higher than 3%. But in 2020, the World Bank report says that the growth rate may decrease to a negative region. Actually, it may become -3%. That's a projection of the World Bank. In 2020, the world growth rate may decrease to a level of -3%. But at the same time, the emerging market and developing economies are seem to be able to have means comfortable position. The reason for this may be different, but looking at this figure, it's very clear that emerging and marketing developing economies, although they have been facing the similar situations, their condition has been quite better than the world growth condition. For example, in 2010, emerging marketing development economies were gaining a growth rate very closer to the 8%. But in 2020, the World Bank report says that the growth rate of emerging marketing development economies may decrease may decline to a level of -2%. And the red line, as I have said, that shows the growth rate of the advanced economies like United States. But United States and the like advanced economies performance has been quite poor compared to the world growth of the red line. Actually, it is clear that the red line lies below the world growth line. It clearly points out that the prospects of the advanced economies that seem not so brighter compared to the average world growth rate and the growth rate of the emerging and marketing development economies. Now, this is also a tabular presentation of what I have already discussed. So if you look at 2020 year, you can see that the world economy's growth rate is projected to go down to -5.2%. Advanced economies growth rate will also come down, but a little bit less than what the world economy is going to face. That is minus 7% decline may be registered by the advanced economies in 2020, and emerging marketing and developing economies may witness a decline in growth rate to the extent of minus 2.5%. But a rosy picture emerges from the prospects of growth trends in 2021, as reported by the World Bank. For instance, in 2021, the world economy growth rate may bounce back to a 4.2% level, while advanced economies are supposed to be making a growth rate to the tune of 3.9%, and emerging market and developing economies, they are also expected to make a much higher performance compared to the world performance and the advanced economies performance. It is reported by the World Bank that emerging market developing economies may be able to register a growth rate to the tune of 4.6%. And we must bear in mind the fact that in 2010, the emerging marketing developing economies were registering a growth rate of 7.4%. So that growth rate may be plummeted to a level of 4.6% in 2021. Now, let us look at the world trade growth rate. So this figure tells you the world trade growth rate. In 2017, the growth rate of the world trade was a little higher than 5%, but in 2018, it slightly declined, and 2019, it again declined, and 2020, that's a COVID time period, World Bank report again a forecast that the world or the global growth in trade may be plummeted to a level much severe than minus 10 percentage. But by 2020 again, there is a good picture being emerged out. That is, in 2021, the world trade growth rate may bounce back to a level of 5%, much means a little higher than 5%. So that's a rosy picture, but the reality is that in 2020, the world or the global growth rate is going to witness a very severe condition where its growth rate will plummet, or where its growth rate will go down to a level much more severe than minus 10 percentage. Now, let us come to the foreign trade performance analysis of Indian economy. In foreign trade performance analysis, we take first the export by region. And here we consider our foreign trade with different regions in the world. And no country-wise analysis is being done here. Only we focus on the regional analysis. We have different regions like Europe, Africa, America, Asia, CIS, and Baltics. And there are, of course, certain unspecified region. And looking at this figure, it is very obvious that our trade, export trade with the Europe actually registered a growth rate of minus 50.19 percentage in 2020 as compared to the 2019. That means around the growth, the export trade, the export of our country with the Europe actually declined by half in 2020 as compared to the level prevailing in 2019. And with Africa, the same is the picture. Around a decline to the tune of 45.81 percentage was registered, or that is what has happened in 2020 compared, of course, with the level of 2019. And with America also, we have been facing a decline in export. That's minus 46.57. And with Asia also, minus 37.43. And CIS Baltics countries also we have a decline in export to the tune of minus 32%, and totally or at an aggregate level, our export in 2020 will go down by minus 42.69%. If you look at the share of these regions in our export in 2020, it's very obvious that Asia is the biggest export partner of India. 53.33% of the total export that India does in every year or in 2020, that actually goes to Asian countries. And next position is occupied, of course, by America. 19.47% of the export items in 2020 that goes to America. Africa's position is 8.25, and Europe still holds a good position with 69.9 percentage of the share of export. So looking at this table, it is very clear that during the time of the COVID-19, the export of India with other specified regions, and that has been a factor to the tune of minus 42.69 percentage. Now, looking at this figure, you will get a clear picture of what has happened to the foreign trade performance of India in respect of the exports. So it is moving up. Means in the case of the Europe, it is less. Again, Africa, it is somewhat high, and in the case of the Asia, minus 37.43, and CS ballistics minus 32, and unspecified region again, it goes down. And now the share in export region wise in 2020, this also we explained, Asia has got the highest share with 53.33%, and the lowest share is goes to the unspecified region minus 0.74. And in the case of the America, still we have a good position, 19.47% of the total exportable share, that exportable share of India goes to America. Let us look at the case of the import performance of Indian economy during the time of COVID-19. And here also we would like to make an analysis of foreign trade performance of India in respect of import with major regions like Europe, Africa, America, Asia, CIS, Baltics, and unspecified region. It's very clear from the figure that in 2020 over 2019, the our import from Europe will witness a decline to the tune of minus 60.6 percentage, and African import from Africa will also go down to the tune of minus 62.2 percentage, and America with import from America will also witness a drastic change, a decline to the tune of minus 49.66 percentage. And if you look at the share of different regions in our import, it's very clear that Asia share is far higher than the share of the other regions. 62.49 percentage of the import from India actually from imported to India actually comes from Asia, and second position naturally goes to America and American regions, and Europe actually has a share of 14.19 percentage. Africa share is very less to the tune of 6.2 percentage. This figure shows region-wise growth rate of imports, and this is similar to the explanation we have already done with the table. And now this is a share in imports region-wise in April, May, and you can see from the figure that Asia share is quite high, that is 62.49% of the import into India actually comes from this Asia. And the lowest share, of course, goes to the unspecified region, but America's position is still Still somewhat better, that is 14.25 percentage of the import share to India comes from America. Thank you.